So I guess I want to dive into that sort of trauma that's happening at work. What have been some of the most difficult or distressing situations or moments you've had in your career in emergency medicine?
Yes, always, having a sick kid in front of you as a parent is really a stressful situation for me, and it's very personal as well.
Yes.
I myself never had to go through that, but I always put, as you said earlier, so we put ourselves at that situation and start thinking. And coming out of that is something that you get with practice or experience. If I take an example, at one day I had a 4-year-old child just after Christmas Day. This was a Boxing Day. Brought in at the same age as my little son, 4 years old, quite unwell. Brought in by parents, 3 days of fever. At a glance, we knew that this child is in a very bad shape. Taken him to resus and started resuscitating. Couldn't get a good IV access in. We had to do intraosseous line. Got fluid in and antibiotics given. 1 hour into resus room, he went into cardiac arrest. We continued to resuscitate for 1.5 hours with the help of pediatrician, the neonatal transport doctors. After 1.5 hours of relentless effort, we failed.
Sure.
He passed away. So that moment was one of the most striking situation, because my son was turning 4 in another week or 2 time. So I managed to lead the situation, but during that resus, the parents were kept in the room all the time. So they saw what's going on. I can still remember the pediatrician was scratching his head to think what else we could do here. Nothing was successful. And then I had to break the bad news to the parent, because they didn't know what's going on. They didn't know what happened just now, seconds ago.
God. Yeah.
They were in the room.
Yeah.
I did that. The pediatric specialist came with me, and the nurse in charge came with me. I had to give the ultimate word. Parents didn't cry because they were kind of numbed to the situation. And walk out of the family debriefing room, and I saw 4 nursing staff were crying as well. I had to speak to the nurse in charge of the floor and then get those nursing 4 staff out of the work, because they were not able to continue, and then we were short of staff for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
I didn't know, in the middle of the resus, one doctor apparently walked out, one of the junior doctors, because that particular doctor's young brother died many years ago, and that doctor started getting flashbacks from it.
Oh my God. Wow.
Which I got to know later.
Yeah.
So that day was my worst day. So having that experience so personal, up close to myself, and having 5 staff already struggling through. And I have about 6 or 7 hours left in the shift as well, which I cannot go home. I did finish the shift, went home, and I didn't go for a night drive on that day. But I told the story to my wife, and I cried at home. That's the day that I cried. That's the only day I cried after my shift, because I couldn't keep it to myself. That day was so overwhelming to me. But I managed to finish 10-hour shift. When I went back to work a couple of days later, the first thing the nursing staff, or one of the nursing staff, asked me, "My God, Ange, how did you be that calm and control yourself in that room for that 1.5 hours of resuscitation?" I couldn't believe it. Everyone was crying inside, and you were so calm and focused on tasks. I said, "No, I didn't. I was crying inside, but I couldn't show that out. If I do that, the whole process will fall apart." And I told her that I went home and cried. Yeah. I'm also human. So that control, I don't know, it happened. And I always reflect on that case. Whenever a difficult situation comes, I always telling me, "You did that on the other day. You can do it. You can do it. You can do it." You did that. The most difficult situation, that was about 4 years ago. I always bring that out. You did that on that day. Today you can do it.
That's amazing. I mean, we spoke about this story before as well, but I remember when you told me it, I was just so sort of taken aback by it. And weirdly enough, it sort of made me want to do emergency medicine more, because I got to see a really strong example of what a good emergency consultant can look like. I felt like you were really making a difference. Like, even though it wasn't a good outcome for the patient, you guys tried your best. And I think what that required from you and what it required from the other staff members as well was huge. And of course, it was devastating for this family to go through as well. But being part of that and trying your best to help that patient, I think, feels so fulfilling in a way, that we get to be a part of this experience. Like, we get to try our best and try and help these people in these sort of situations. But that's amazing. I'm lost for words, because I think it's such an amazing sort of experience that you went through with it, and hopefully, I can work towards that one day as well with lots of practice. Yeah, that is crazy. So then, how did you come home that day? And then, was it sort of a long time that it took to heal from that, or do you think it was just eventually you just sort of say, okay, I've just got to do my job now?
It's still there. The scar is still there.
Yeah.
When a kid comes with unwell situation,
Yeah.
I just cannot stay focusing on what I'm doing right now. I just put myself in there. Sometimes it may not be my patient.
Right.
Maybe someone else, some other teams, or maybe team A, B patient, I'm in team A. I always poke my nose in there. I just want to make sure that things are happening in the right way.
Yeah.
And help my colleague out.
Yeah.
So I have that habit now. It's probably started from there. So I just keep that case in my pocket all the time. I want to deliver better, knowing that you can't do it every time.
Yeah.
There are failures, but once you've done your best and it failed, you at least have a satisfaction. You've done your best. Can't do any more, and that's it.